Hi everyone, my name is Shelby Moyers. I live in Arkansas, so I'm unable to attend presentations, so I've recorded mine. A little bit of background about myself and how I arrived at my topic. I'm a first and second grade special education teacher. I also teach English online to kiddos from all over the world, primarily China, and I am also completing my master's in speech language pathology this month. So I kind of wanted to find something that integrated all three areas that I could pull from my experiences and interests, and so I arrived at technology and early literacy. So I wanted to start off with a quote that I found in my research, and it says, "Literacy is a social practice that enables people to learn and interact with the world." And I just feel like this is so fitting for this topic because it's true that literacy is more than just something we use in school and at work. It's also a social practice, so it's extra important that our children are able to be literate. And after years working in the special education setting, I've definitely seen a major struggle with the development of language and early literacy skills, especially in retaining letter sound recognition and vocabulary. And if you guys use Fountas and Pinnell like my district does, you can see over there to the right on the chart, that it's extra important for our kindergartners and first graders to be able to keep up in literacy, because in kindergarten our kids are expected to retain 4 reading levels, and in grade 1, 6, and about 3 every year after that. But you can see that it's going to be hard for those kids to keep up once they fall behind. When our students do fall behind, it affects more than just their ability to be literate. It also can affect their self-esteem. It can cause accompanying problems like frustration, feelings of failure, or even classroom behaviors. And in my time teaching, I've definitely noticed that the more special education students fall behind or have classroom difficulties, the more they tend to require more services. And consequentially, this means a decrease in the amount of time spent in the general education setting. It's important that they spend time in the general education setting because this is where they're surrounded by all their diverse classmates and they're exposed to social, behavioral, academic, and other various world knowledges. And we want to make sure that they're not missing out on opportunities for valuable experiences that their peers are getting. So literacy is one of the most important skills that a person with special needs can attain. Because as you can see in this quote, it says that those with disabilities who can read tend to have more self-confidence, more chances to be employed, more chances to live independently, and are more readily accepted by others, which kind of brings us back around to the fact that literacy is a social practice. And so it's the intent of this research to determine if attaining these skills can be impacted through the use of technology. We're going to aim to discover ways to engage students in learning and ultimately increase their ability to retain and execute these important skills. And so my primary research question is, what impact will the use of Lexia Core 5 program, which I'll introduce in just a little while, accessed via iPad, have on the development of language and early literacy skills in lower elementary age students with disabilities? My secondary research question will be, what effect will the use of the Lexia Core 5 program, accessed via iPad, have on students' motivation during literacy time for students with special needs? So over the next 2 slides, I have my list of definitions for terms that you might hear throughout this presentation. And as educators, I'm sure you all have heard and may be very familiar with all or most of these terms. So I'll go ahead and run through them real quickly. Comprehension is the process of simultaneously extracting and constructing meaning through interaction and involvement with written language. Fluency is the ability to connect or to read connected text rapidly, smoothly, effortlessly, and automatically. Inclusion is going to be referring most commonly to time spent around typically developing peers in various school settings. And the Lexia Core 5 program is a comprehensive technology-based literacy program that extends learning for students who are advanced and accelerates learning for students who struggle. Literacy is the ability to read and write to the levels of proficiency necessary to interact in society. Phonemic awareness is the ability to hear and manipulate the sounds in spoken words. Phonics is the correlation between symbols, which we know as the alphabet, and their corresponding sounds. Representation is one that you all may or may not know, but is the ability to differentiate content in digital literacy. And vocabulary is the collection of words that an individual knows. So jumping into the literature, it's hard to avoid the topic of motivation and engagement. These are obviously very important things in getting our learners to buy into their participation in their education. Motivation is an important benefit of technology. It both captures our students' attention during class and empowers them to be successful with their new skills outside of class. And the iPad specifically facilitates motivation through creating a unique and customized experience for students. So while we all know that iPads in the classroom definitely have their pros and cons, in the special education setting specifically, they're a really great tool because the population of students is so diverse and it ranges in cognitive and physical abilities. And while the computers are so great, many of our students aren't able to physically access them or cognitively navigate them. So iPads are a really great tool. iPads are portable, they're lightweight, they have the intuitive touchscreen interface, and they also enable students to quickly and easily access information. In the literature, I came across multiple studies, and there's so much out there on this, but I'm going to just synthesize it here. The areas of research that I found were on overall reading, reading accuracy, reading comprehension, sight words, vocabulary, word identification, decoding, and even play dialogue, which is really important for vocabulary. And the International Reading Association also promotes the integration of technology in the classrooms to encourage the understanding of 21st century literacies. So in my research, I came across a program that you all may or may not be familiar with called Lexia Core 5. And it's an online reading program, and it's accessible by any device, which is great because it can be accessed at home, it can be accessed at school, and it can be accessed by all different kinds of learners. One of the important things that I thought should be in a reading program are the combination of key skills being phonics and vocabulary. And Lexia Core 5 actually targets phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. It's also one of the most highly researched educational programs in existence, and most of these studies have positive outcomes. It also integrates representation, which is something we mentioned earlier, and it's the broad accessibility and capacity to reach nearly all students of different and ranging abilities. So it's differentiating the content for us. And going along with representation, teachers reported in a 2013 study to feel that Lexia was beneficial to all students, not just those who struggled with reading disabilities. And it can be used for a wide variety of ages and has proved to be beneficial for English language learners. So this makes a really great case for the opportunity for inclusion of both special needs children and ESL learners. I also found a really great article by Northrop and Colleen, and it goes into depth in how to integrate the iPads into your curriculum. And this is very synthesized. It's explained more in my paper, of course. But basically, it can be carried out in 4 steps, which are teaching the targeted skill by explicit instruction without the iPad, explaining and modeling the application, guided practice, and then independent practice. So in concluding this presentation, there were some key points. One is just stressing the importance of early literacy, especially in the special education population, because already existing deficits make it an extra challenge for them to keep up. In looking for a solution, technology is obviously a really great option, and iPads specifically are a very effective tool in motivating and engaging students. and they provide special learners the physical and cognitive access to programs that other technology can't. The Lexia 5 or the Lexia Core 5 program was offered as a possible solution to improving literacy and language in the special education population, and this is because of the volume of studies supporting it, its ability to reach a broad level of different learners, and its focus on the 5 key areas, including phonological awareness, automaticity and fluency, comprehension, and especially phonics to put a focus on early literacy and vocabulary to best target language. As far as recommendations for future research, this topic is really well researched and doesn't lack in many areas, but I do feel that research is necessary on the effect of technology, iPads, and the Lexia program on inclusion of students with special needs to the general education setting. I'd also love to see more research in the special education population using this program. And these are my references. Thank you guys all so much for listening, and congratulations on completing your program.